Hey guys, it's me, Gaming in the class, and look what time it is. 11:19 p.m. And right now, I have the live stream for NASA and the EU's cooperation for James Webb telescope launch. As you can see, T-minus 1 minute and 10 seconds. This video might last for a bit long. When you guys are watching this, it's probably the 26th of December. But hey, you can watch this. Let me make the volume.
The Vulcan 2 engine will ignite. Turbo pumps will come up to flight speed for 7 seconds.
40 seconds. Let's see the comments. The comments are going crazy now. I can't send my freaking comments. Sorry, man. Sorry, guys. I swear.
T-minus 30 seconds.
T-minus 30? Oh my god, this is so exciting. This is one of the biggest launches in like 30 years. It has been delayed since 2006. T-minus 20 seconds. It has been delayed from 2006 due to economy and other issues. 3, 2, 1. Oh, come on. Oh my god, this is real. And the rocket is gone.
Decollage liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the
Yes?
itself. James
I'm
Webb
literally
begins a voyage
crying right
back to
now.
the birth of the universe. Punching a hole through the clouds.
Wow.
30 seconds into the
Look at
flight,
that.
the pitch program
Oh my god.
recorded.
Guys, I actually
Vehicle
captured
performance
this.
is nominal.
Oh my god. Hopefully
The Ariane
we
5 rocket
switch to
continues,
the Ariana
to
5
fly
rocket
uphill in
cameras.
nominal fashion. The rumble of the powerful Ariane 5 now being felt here in the control center.
Alright.
3D animation.
No! Wait, what's wrong with the internet? God damn it. Oh no, I don't want to miss this. Come on. For God's sake. That was the thing that I'm most worried about.
The trajectory reported to be nominal by Jean-Luc Voyer, the range operations manager.
T plus 1 minute 30 seconds.
The yellow line is the trajectory plot, perfectly overlaid over the green line, which was the pre-launch trajectory.
Guys, this is like so exciting, man.
About 40 seconds away from shutdown of the solid rocket boosters.
If this mission fails, that's $10 billion
Coming up
gone.
on the 2-minute mark into the flight.
T plus 2 minutes.
When it detects the threshold on acceleration, not the deceleration, but less acceleration. Everything is okay. Everything is normal.
2 minutes, 15 seconds into the flight.
When the computer detects this threshold,
So rocket boosters are detached at T plus 2 minutes 20 seconds.
Booster separation from Jean-Luc Voyer. This coming at an altitude of 44 miles. The Ariane 5 and James Webb traveling
So
almost 5,000
82
miles
kilometers, as you can see right
We
here.
have about 1
And
minute,
distance
5
from launch.
seconds to go before fairing jettison. That'll be the next critical milestone.
Let's see how many people are watching. Oh my god, half a
is there
million.
to avoid the satellite being exposed to high temperatures and also high airflows. As soon as the launcher leaves the atmosphere, as is now the case, the satellite
I
does
think
not
that
need
is
anymore to
where
be
you
protected,
exit the
and
atmosphere,
Webb does not
like
need anymore to be
the first stage rocket.
So each kilogram being very important for the performance of the launch, we are going to eject this no more useful fairing.
And let's go down to the floor in the Jupiter
T
Control
plus
Center to
3
Raphael
minute
Chevrier of
20
Ariane
seconds.
Spas. Raphael, so far so good.
Hi, Rob. So far, so good. Everything is nominal.
Oh,
as we
fairings
said,
detached.
the trajectory of
Thank
the
God.
Ariane 5 is going perfectly well. As you
The
can see
reason
also
why it
on
was
the
delayed
video
from
on
November
the
to
screen,
December
we
is
had
because the
confirmation
fairings
of
weren't
the,
detaching.
separation of
So
the two side boosters
the
and
first
now
step of
the
success.
fairing, meaning that we have crossed the limits of the atmosphere. So everything is going super good. And the DDO just said that all parameters are going perfectly
Wait,
smoothly. So let's continue the
It's
mission.
split. The fairing split.
Raphael, this is a view
T
from
plus
the
4
upper
minutes.
stage camera called the Vicky Cam, looking back at the James Webb Space Telescope. This is on about a 20-second delay or so because of the way the imagery is processed
is
here in the
cool,
control
man.
room. There's your telescope ready to unfurl
so
its wings, basically, and begin its journey to the Lagrange point, the L2 point.
Guys, one of the
miles away
most
from Earth.
amazing rocket launches in the near 30 to 40 years.
Trajectory is nominal. The report from Jean-Luc Voyer.
You guys can listen to the audio. We're gonna celebrate if the it gets into orbit.
The liftoff time confirmed here in
it's
the Mission
gonna
Control
be
Center
in
at
orbit
12:20
for like
Greenwich
30
Mean Time,
30 days.
9:20 a.m. Peru time, 7:20 a.m. Eastern Time. The Ariane 5 and James Webb, 181 kilometers in altitude, 450 kilometers downrange from the launch site here in Peru.
Wow, that is just beautiful and amazing, isn't it?
5 minutes, 12 seconds into the flight. We have about 3.5 minutes to go in main stage or first stage performance. And again, you can see at the bottom of your screen the yellow plot line overlaid over the green line.
T
meaning,
plus
we are
5
on
minutes
course,
30
right down the
seconds.
pike and a perfect trajectory so far for the Ariane 5 rocket.
I stayed up like just like to watch this. Please get into like, please successfully launch.
We are in Kourou. It will track the launcher to the ignition of its upper stage. And then we have the natal station in Brazil, Ascension as you can see on the map, in the middle of the ocean, and the two last stations in Africa.
Today was Christmas.
Libreville and Malindi,
Is-
one on the east coast, the other one on the west coast. And the one on the west coast, Malindi, you can see that the telescope will be separated more or less over this Malindi station. And this Malindi station will also acquire the telemetry data from the telescope. You can see both are
T plus
Galileo and Data
6
on this
minutes
mission. It means
30 seconds.
they are expected
Six,
to
yeah.
receive the data, and it was confirmed right now by the launch operations manager.
Acquisition de télémesure par la station du Natal au Brésil.
And just confirming now that telemetry is being processed through the Brazilian tracking station. The telescope is also processing telemetry through the tracking and data relay satellite system. As it moves further and further out into deep space, all of the telescope's telemetry and its imagery ultimately will be processed through the Deep Space Network in Goldstone, California. We passed the 7-minute mark into the flight. A perfect ride so far on the Ariane 5. We have about 1.5 minutes to go in the first stage performance. Once the main stage engine is commanded to cut off, it will be jettisoned. And just a few seconds after that, the upper stage engine will ignite.
T plus 7 minutes
will be the
30
workhorse
seconds.
for a 16-minute burn that will put James Webb into its preliminary orbit.
This will be a bit long. By the way, it launched at just a few seconds over 11:20 p.m. here in Sydney,
About 11
Australia.
minutes from now, telescope controllers at the Space Telescope Science Institute will be sending commands to prepare James Webb for the initial series of commissioning activities that will lead to the deployment of its solar array and the initiation of generation of electrical power for the telescope. About 30 seconds away from main engine cutoff.
trajectoire est normale.
Nominal trajectory continues to be the watchword for the day from the Range Operations Manager, Jean-Luc Voyer.
Guys, as you can see, this is the altitude. Altitude is going down because it has to get into orbit. You guys, I know that. So I know that from this game called and we have stage 1 rocket detached. Anyways, I learned this from a game called Space Flight Simulator. Right, there we go. That's good.
And Raphael Chevrier down in the fishbowl.
Sorry.
So far, so good.
Yes, Rob, we have the confirmation of the separation of the main stage and the definition of the upper stage. The trajectory is perfectly nominal. This is a very important moment for us because it's always a challenge to switch on a cryogenic engine in space condition, and we are now at 220 kilometers of altitude. Speed is a bit more than 7 kilometers per second. As we enter now the second stage of the second phase of the flight, the upper stage is going to power for about 16 minutes to place Webb on its transfer orbit, and right now everything is again nominal, as the DDO just said.
And a short time from now, the so-called sawtooth maneuver will get underway.
T plus 10 minutes.
Like rocking a baby in a cradle, this will be a maneuver to keep Webb's optics protected from overheating, Luce.
Exactly, Rob. Like a baby in a cradle. You can see here Webb attached on top of Ariane 5 upper stage with a very specific configuration. Of course, it will be different during its lifetime, but for the time being, its sun shield is folded and not yet fully protecting the observatory. A number of exhaustive studies have been performed by the mission teams in Europe, in the US, on the thermal conditioning inside the telescope and the way the rays of the sun would propagate and interact with sensitive equipment inside the telescope. Maintain this thermal conditioning is really key before separating this telescope. And in particular, we know that one face of the telescope cannot face the sun. That's why
T plus 11 minutes.
Thermal conditions inside Webb, a specific roll law has been designed, what we call the sawtooth approach. And if you are watching carefully to these images, you can see this animation. You can see that the upper stage is going 30 degrees on one side, then 30 degrees on the other side, going back and forth this way to maintain this perfect thermal conditioning for the telescope.
One of the main problems with the telescope is that essentially won't deploy properly.
The Ariane 5 rocket, which continues to perform in excellent fashion, coming up on the 12-minute mark into the flight. The telescope controllers will be taking the baton, if you will, from the mission controllers here in Kourou. The first steps will be the opening of fuel valves, a pair of fuel valves, to start
T
flowing
plus 12
fuel to
minutes.
Webb's onboard thrusters. They then will power on the valve drive electronics. Those are powered on in preparation to control and fire those thrusters when required. Webb's solar array is scheduled to be deployed at approximately the 33-minute mark into the flight. Once it is locked in place, we'll get the call that electricity is flowing through the array. That call will come from the Mission Operations Manager, Carl Starr, who's at the Space Telescope Science Institute at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. Seated right behind him in that control room is Alicia Starr, a pair of stars helping to guide James Webb on its discovery of the stars. Alicia Starr is the lead engineer for launch and ascent events. Once the solar array is deployed and declared power positive, then 3 out of the 4 hold downs for the aft deployed radiator will be released to prevent binding due to the cool down of the telescope's composite structure. The contamination control heaters will be enabled to protect instrument optics on Webb from any water ice condensation as they cool down. The actuator drive unit will be powered on. This particular mechanism helps with heater control of the fine steering mirror preventing water ice condensation, later to be used to position
What
each
is
of
that?
the mirror's segments. All 6 reaction wheels and the wheel drive electronics will be powered on for Webb, and that will be the precursor to the attitude control system using those reaction wheels to maintain the proper orientation with the sun, as opposed to using onboard thrusters. Of course, fuel in those thrusters, very valuable. It's a limited commodity for the lifetime of James Webb's observations of the universe.
Yeah, Christmas spirits. Let's go.
We're 13 minutes, 55 seconds.
By the way, it's morning there. Oh, fun fact about the James Webb. When the schedule is fully deployed, the telescope size can get over negative 250 degrees
And again,
Celsius.
Luce Fabriget from the European
That's
Space
like
Agency.
super
How is
low.
this trajectory being carefully and methodically adjusted to provide the correct parameters
Let's see the
in the
comments,
final
shall we?
stages of ascent?
Yes, Rob, as you can see on this plot,
The comments are going
the altitude is
crazy.
slightly going down. It's perfectly
Let's
normal.
say-
The launch vehicle is really on the line where it should be. This decrease of its altitude, slight decrease of its altitude, will allow the launcher to benefit and the upper stage to benefit of the gravity effect and to increase its velocity until it reaches a thermal threshold. It's about to reach it, or even already reached it now, and it will go up. And now it will go up and up to the separation
T plus
of the Webb
15 minutes.
telescope. It will separate the Webb telescope on a highly elliptic orbit, but still around the Earth. The telescope will be released, inserted on an orbit around the Earth, with an apogee, a very high apogee above 1 million kilometers.
Trajectory nominal as reported by Jean-Luc Voyer. You see him in that view, 185 kilometers in altitude, some 4,500 kilometers downrange from the launch site here in Kourou, moving at more than 8 kilometers per second, right on the plot, right on the trajectory, everything looking great. We are about 9 minutes away from the completion of upper stage ignition. It's shut down, and then about a 2.5-minute post phase before Webb will separate. Observatory separation will be called out. You'll be hearing those calls and the initial calls from Carl Starr, the mission operations manager at the Space Telescope Science Institute at Johns Hopkins, through solar array deploy and the declaration of a power-positive spacecraft. James Webb, of course, will be traveling well beyond the moon to a distance of about 1 million miles away from Earth, settling into a highly elliptical, halo-like orbit to begin its astronomical observations. And again, as we mentioned earlier, at the time of observatory separation, Webb will be at an altitude of approximately 864 miles, statute miles, traveling some 21,000 miles an hour.
We're gonna wait till the separation of James Webb and the upper stage.
We're about 8 minutes away from upper stage shutdown. The stage has performed as planned. No issues reported. The launch
What's the
occurring
time
at
now?
12:20 Greenwich Mean Time,
11:37.
9:20 Kourou time, 7:20 a.m. Eastern Time on this Christmas Day.
This is Christmas has already finished for me.
The velocity you just mentioned is very important, Rob. The velocity you just mentioned at separation of the telescope is very important. It will be slightly below, okay, I give it in kilometers per second, but it will be slightly below 10 kilometers per second, because it's important that the satellite, the telescope, is not inserted on an escape orbit. It will be placed on a terrestrial orbit so that there will be time for the layout, for the early phase operations and the commissioning of the telescope. And that will be, in fact, the upper stage that will leave this orbit and goes toward an escape liberation orbit.
And of course, even though we're still in powered flight,
T
the
plus
trajectory,
18 minutes.
the acceleration, the speed at which James Webb is going towards its preliminary orbit, all modeled in advance, and carefully choreographed to maintain as quiescent an atmosphere and environment around the telescope for its ultimate separation from the upper stage of the Ariane 5 rocket, which is about 6.5 minutes from now.
Awkward silence.
18.5 minutes into the flight. It's very quiet now here in the control center here in Kourou.
Because do you know that when James Webb gets into its
NASA officials,
planned
European
orbit,
Space Agency
it's called
officials,
the scariest
Ariane
30
5
days.
officials,
Because
all
one
watching, telemetry
one
very
wrong
carefully.
step, $10 billion wasted, gone. I really want to see.
And as the upper stage continues to burn nominally and sheds fuel, the acceleration uphill for the James Webb Space Telescope continues to increase as we approach the 20-minute mark into the flight. Again, upper stage cutoff is scheduled at the 24-minute, 51-second mark into the flight, about 5.5 minutes from now.
After the cutoff of this main engine, as you said, Rob, we will have a short ballistic phase, a short coasting phase that will, when the upper stage will rely fully on its what we call the attitude and roll control system, and it will adjust its attitude so that during this so small ballistic phase,
T
all
plus
the
20
requirements
minutes.
from the telescope are fully met. And that adds
Guys, if this
acceleration.
rocket like
When there
somehow
is acceleration,
explodes,
the
I'm literally
conditions
gonna
will
be like
very
crying,
smooth and as requested from
cold,
the telescope.
crying out loud.
Pilotage est calme, la propulsion est nominale.
Today's countdown was as flawless as you can imagine. The weather was perfect all the way through the early morning
Really,
hours.
that was like
Through
cloudy.
the fueling process of the vehicle, the weather's been a bit dicey here in Kourou over the past few days, but everything fell together on this Christmas day to send a new present to the world's astronomer.
Let's go.
20 minutes, 40 seconds into the flight.
Christmas present.
Trajectoire normale, tous les paramètres
$10 billion
sont
Christmas
Parameters
present for the
nominal, as reported
astronomers.
by Jean-Luc Boyer, the range operations manager. Four minutes of powered flight remaining.
Awkward silence. They're working their best. Like these workers, they're working the best to ensure that this $10 billion project doesn't go wrong. So thank to them.
The telemetry of the launch vehicle is acquired for the time being by the Libreville tracking station on the western coast of
trajectoire est normale.
Africa. Flight control is nominal. The trajectory is fully normal, fully as expected, as you can see on the plot with the yellow plot over the green one. That is the expected one.
22 minutes into the flight. Less than 3 minutes of powered flight
Pilotage
remaining.
est calme.
Smooth flight control.
Holding my breath.
And again, as we've mentioned
Les
before,
paramètres à bord sont normaux.
everything nominal reported by the range operations manager. As we've mentioned before,
Acquisition de la
this is
télévision
a
par la
long
station de
ride
Malaisie
uphill
au Kenya.
for the James Webb Space Telescope to put it at the proper position in the sky so that it can escape from the Earth, basically head beyond the moon towards its final orbit for its commissioning activities that will be the dominant feature of all of the operations from the Space Telescope Science Institute over the course of the next several weeks.
I waited this for like several years.
Announced the acquisition by Lindsay, by
T plus 23 minutes, which means there's only
for the last
around 2 minutes
for
of
the end
powered
the
flight
and the last,
remaining.
part of the upper stage flight and the separation.
Less
of the
than
telescope.
2 minutes.
James Webb is about 4 minutes away from separating from the upper stage.
4
And
minutes
again,
from
at that
separating.
point, rocket will be on its own. And again, those milestones that we discussed a bit earlier in the broadcast will begin to be followed carefully by the telescope controllers at the mission operations
Wait,
center,
is
the MOC, as it's called,
something
at the Space
used?
Telescope
I
Science
don't know.
Institute.
That rocket.
All the
The Russian rocket.
One minute of powered flight remaining.
Yep, that's true.
The upper stage continues to function perfectly. It's been a smooth ride for the James Webb Space Telescope.
I mean, hey, if this thing doesn't
Trajectoire est
explode,
nominale.
I think it's pretty smooth, right? As long as this whole $10 billion project doesn't go kaboom,
That upper
capiche,
stage was loaded,
boom.
pre-flight this
$10
morning
billion,
with
guy.
15 tons
No,
of
I don't think
propellant
so.
for this long 16-minute burn.
Because they're working
Now
the
about 30
best.
seconds
The
away
workers.
from upper stage
Yes.
cutoff.
25 seconds more of powered flight time. "15 seconds from engine cut now.
For upper stage
Cut
shutdown.
off.
The
10
cutoff
seconds
of the,
from
upper stage engine.
Oh, wait. Did it cut off already? Oh well.
Extinction ESC.
Hey. Alright, we're
Les
gonna wait
paramètres sont normaux.
till the
Till
James Webb separates.
was confirmed exactly as expected. With the
25 minutes. T plus 24 minutes 50 seconds.
speed and velocity.
Upper engine cutoff.
So now we have entered the
Upper
coasting
stage
phase,
and the
coasting
cutoff.
phase that will last for a little more than 2 minutes.
And the telescope controllers in Baltimore confirming that all of the function parameters for the James Webb Space Telescope have been loaded on board the telescope. We are expecting Webb
Wait,
separation.
does that mean they could have missed
27-minute,
something?
7-second
Like
mark here
software
in
or
flight.
hardware on the James Webb
Just
telescope?
over a minute from
That's
now,
interesting.
springs will gently push Webb away from the upper stage of the Ariane
Please, please,
5.
please.
As
Is
it
this?
moves further and
I'm
further
literally
away
gonna cry.
from
Like
the upper
actually,
stage, there'll
because
be what,
$10 billion
we
and like
refer to
well,
as a
like
collision avoidance
more
maneuver.
than like close to 20 years of waiting.
The springs already will give
Well,
some distance, of course,
oh.
between the two objects, between the telescope and the upper stage. And then the upper stage
Oh,
will leave
like
the
16,
trajectory of the
15
telescope
years
and
of
makes
waiting.
special
In
maneuver
2006,
to
man.
pass the telescope and heads towards a liberation orbit and leaves the telescope
Orbit. Like English so bad.
on its orbit.
I mean, not bad. Like they just got an
without any
accident.
risk of collision
Should make
and
fun of
without
them.
any
Sorry.
risk of pollution towards the telescope.
And we're about 17 seconds away from Webb separation.
When is separating? Come on, don't go kaboom. Alright, we got separation. Don't go kaboom, please.
Séparation Webb Space Telescope. Go Webb!
Yes! Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Oh my god! Let's go! Let's go!
We do have confirmation of
Oh my god! Oh,
James Webb
yes!
Space Telescope amidst the
Finally!
flames here in
Oh, from 2 years of waiting of my time.
steps
Oh
pursuit of
my god.
cosmological discovery.
I'm actually crying right now.
It was a
Finally.
perfect ride to orbit,
Let's go! Let's go, boys.
and all of the separation sequence events are running in good fashion according to the telescope controllers. And there is the view from the upper
Wow.
stage camera. on
Wow.
Ariane 5, looking
Look
at
at
the
that.
James Webb Space Telescope
Look at the
as it moves,
James Webb Space
gently
Telescope.
away
That's like,
from its launch vehicle.
it's beautiful.
Webb, go Webb.
Yes, go Webb.
Yes, go Webb.
Ironically enough, as we marvel
But
on this
actually,
view
go
from the
Webb.
upper stage camera, this will be humanity's last view of the James Webb Space Telescope as it moves to its workplace about 1 million miles away from Earth.
Bye bye, farewell, and good luck, James Webb Space Telescope. Do your job.
Now we'll be
You
hearing
will serve
directly from
your
Mission Operations
design
Manager of the
purposes.
Space Telescope Science
Farewell.
Institute, Carl Starr, who will be calling out the procedures that will lead to the deployment of Webb's solar array. And down in the fishbowl where there is jubilation, let's go to Raphael Chevrier of Arianespace. And before we do that, Raphael, a bit earlier than planned, but there is the solar array having been deployed. James Webb now
A bit
has its
earlier.
array out
Oh,
as we stand by for a confirmation that it is power positive.
wow.
Hey, Rob.
Positive? Let's go! Positive! Yes! 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 They got electricity! Let's go! It's positive for electricity. That means James Webb Space Telescope will have electricity. Let's go.
And there it is. There's your critical call. James Webb not only has legs, but it has power.
Let's
as
go!
It begins its journey and the commissioning activities to follow. And with that, let's go down to the floor in the fishbowl and Raphael Chevrier of Arianespace.
This is it. We have witnessed and the confirmation that Ariane 5 have safely delivered Webb into space.
Yes.
The upper stage is now being
Rocket,
placed in a safe,
thank
safe
you.
orbit around the sun.
For serving millions,
These images
if not
are absolutely
billions of
incredible.
people on this planet, just like me, astronomers waiting for the news and professional observers. Thank you, Ariana 5. I think that I said that right. But thank you. You served your purposes.
All I can say is good luck, Webb, and bring us incredible data from the deep universe.
At that point, our sequence will continue.
Well, Raphael, congratulations on a perfect ride to orbit from the Ariane 5 out of Kourou here today. A view here in the Space Telescope Science Institute. Their work just beginning on a new era of scientific observations. Luce Fabregat, it was a smooth ride to orbit. Everything went by the book, almost like a simulation without any problems. And we thank you for all of your insights
Yes,
throughout
thank
the course of
you,
the day.
the guy.
Europe, and really a great achievement. I have many faces and names now coming up to my mind, and really you can be proud of what was achieved on both
Thank you,
sides
man.
of the
Like,
Atlantic Ocean.
no
Thanks a lot to
mistakes,
you.
and it was made.
Tremendous jubilation here in the control center. You're looking at Jean-Luc Voyer, the range operations manager. Quite a Christmas
Let's
present
go.
for the world's astronomers.
Let's go. Happy Christmas. Let's go, guys. So finally successful of the detachment and deployment of the solar panels on the James Webb Telescope. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Goodness, I just can't tell you. It's such utter jubilation here on the floor of the
Excuse
Control
me.
Center. Everybody's been whooping with joy. The controllers here, the mission controllers, jumping up, clapping, whooping with joy, people hugging. And I have to say, my throat was caught as I saw the glimpse of sunshine on Webb solar panels as we watched it heading out into space on its journey to its working zone. It's going to take about 6 months before we start getting our deep space observations from Webb.
Come on, man.
The teams have got a huge amount to do before we get to that, and our best wishes with all those teams in Baltimore. I want to get some reaction. Right now, everybody's talking and hugging each other because they're feeling so excited, and I totally understand that. Let's start, though, by going over to the NASA Administrator, Bill Nelson.
Let's go, guys.
Okay.
Administrator Bill Nelson, right now looking at these jubilant scenes here in the Mission Control Center in
Oh, finally,
European
my
spaceport.
my heart is being like hooked up, and now I can finally
Done a
settle.
fantastic job. It was an utterly flawless launch.
Yes, I agreed.
From the European spaceport here on the equator in the Amazon rainforest. Hoping to go over now to NASA Administrator Bill Nelson to get some reaction from him.
All stations, 7.5 minutes, give or take, until the sequence continues with our ADIR release part 1 and our TCS configurations.
Alright, let's see.
GSC on off, filling the JW6 config.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Wait, let me ask. Is this like the end? I think so. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching this amazing video with me. I'm sorry I can't do a live on my phone, but hey, at least we got at least we know that James Webb Space Telescope is just up there somewhere in the night sky, reaching its designated orbit. And if you like, I don't know, whoever is watching this, NASA, the EU's, I pay my respect to you guys' work. Thank you guys for working on this amazing piece of artwork, project to send James Webb Space Telescope out there. Thank you guys. Thank you to the builders and the control center workers. If you guys are watching this, probably not, but thank you very, very, very much for putting James Webb out there. And maybe James Webb, I know you're a telescope, you can't respond, but good luck on your journey. And yeah, do your things you were designed to do. Show us the galaxies. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. I'll upload this right now. Right now is 11:58. As you guys can see. 11:58. And oh, it's 11:59 now. Nearly December 26th. So best of luck to you guys, to the workers, and to James Webb. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.